Good morning, everybody. One of these days, I'm going to figure out what causes the computer to work one day and not the next, as far as recognizing the Elmo, the dot cam, and the microphone, so I can record. Some days it's easy, some days it's hard. We just fall down 7 times, get up 8, right? Here we go. Copy this warm up. Okay, make sure you understand how to get all the answers to this. Hint, hint. It will help you later on. Not just get smarter, not just have an easier time getting math done, but to also probably earn a few more points in class too. Copy it down, do your best, come back, and then see how you did. There is one science question in there at the bottom, I hope you see. Okay, while you're doing that, I'll be trying to solve this. Okay? All right, see you in a bit. And look at that. I'm on my way. I got all this face green, right? All right, off to the races. Let's get this one done now. We got diamonds. What two numbers have a product of 25 and a sum of 10? Well, hopefully you recognize 5 times 5, right? That's a perfect square. That's what they call it, 25, perfect square. That means if you had 25 blocks, you can make a square out of those blocks and not have any left over. You can also do that with 81 blocks, right? 9 times 9, 9 squared. Okay, you can do that with 49. That would be 7. 7 squared is 49. 7 plus 7 is 14. And the last one, Mr. Daniel's favorite number, 16 times 16 is 256. Okay, remember when you divide fractions, you have to smell my feet. Right? Now, what does that mean? It's just a mnemonic. It's a fun way. Fun for some people. I know some of the girls like to say flowers, and some of the boys make it even worse. To remember how to divide fractions. That S stands for same. Leave that first number the same, 6. Now, I want it to be a fraction now, so I'm going to put a 1 under it. Do you see how fast I did that? Boom, boom. You can put a 1 under any number to make it a fraction. Okay, now what's the M for? The M is for multiply. Why? Because multiplying fractions is easy. So if we turn this into a multiplying fraction problem, we just made it easy. Okay, but I can't just multiply it by 3/8. That's the same problem, but I'm dividing and I'm multiplying instead of dividing. I have to instead multiply by what we call its reciprocal. And a reciprocal you can just think of as for a fraction is that number flipped over, and that's where that F comes in. So instead of 3/8, I'm going to have 8 over 3, 8/3. And then you multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom, and you simplify if you have to at the end. So 3 does go into 48 16 times, so 16 over 1 is 16. Hopefully you got that right. Now, this fraction here, what do I do with it? Well, all fractions are like division problems. You know, I just divided 3 into 48, right? 1 times 3, write down the next number, and 3 goes into 18 6 times, and that's how I got that 18 or 16. Okay, we're doing the same thing here. We're just going to simplify this and see how many times 12 goes into 768. Okay, and I know that 6 times 12 is 72 because 6 feet is 72 inches. I know that because I've done a lot of work with wood, right? Building and things. I like doing that. You will learn that too. It's a good thing to know if you live in America and we use inches and feet. Most of the rest of the world using centimeters and meters. They just have to divide by 100. It's easier. Now, how many times is 12 going to 48? That's a nice perfect 4 as well. So 768 over 12 ends up being 64 over 1, which is 64. Boom. What does of mean in math? Hopefully you know by now that's a big multiplying problem, right? And I want you to know that when I did 6 over 1 times 8 over 3, I could have simplified this before I started by what they call cross-canceling. Remember how we do this? Cross-canceling is when you could find a number that goes into the top and the bottom when you're multiplying, even if they're not right above each other. Because 6 times 8 is the same as 8 times 6, you can see that 6 over 1 times 8 over 3 is the same as 8 over 1 times 6 over 3. And you would simplify that to 2, right? 6/3 is 2 wholes, and 2 times 8 is 16. But you don't even have to have them over each other because you could switch that. That's an extra step. You don't need to. You could just say 3 goes into the bottom one time and 3 goes into 6, the top over here, 2 times. And now my problem on top is 2 times 8. And my problem on the bottom is 1 times 1, 16 over 1. So that's a way that I can make my problem easier. So I'm not dealing with this real big number, 48.3. Okay. Same idea here. I could simplify because 3 goes into the top and the bottom here, but actually 6 does, right? 6 goes into, but I could also simplify by saying 3 goes into 12 4 times and 3 goes into 3 1 time. Now I can simplify this. 2 goes into 4 2 times and 18 9 times. 2 times 1 on top, 9 times 1 on the bottom. If I didn't do that, I have 12 times 1 on top and 3 times 18 on the bottom, and I have to simplify that number, which is a little bit harder. The numbers get bigger. So if you can make them smaller before you multiply, you make your problem a little bit easier. Okay. And if you like some practice on that, send me an email. I'll give you some problems to practice with. You get good at it, and your life becomes easy. Okay. When I work hard, life is easy. When I take it easy, life is hard. Right? You want to make your life easy. Work hard. Right? You feel better anyway when you get done. Okay. The area of this triangle is 15 square inches, and the base is 5. What is the height? Well, remember the area of a triangle. The formula is 1/2 times the base times the height. I could substitute what I know. 15 equals 1/2 times 5 times h. Okay? So I'm thinking, what number, right, goes into 15, where I take half of it? I know that 3 times 5 is 15. So if that was 6, it would work, huh? Right? There's different ways to do it. Some people say, okay, well, if I'm going to get rid of that half, how do you get rid of a half? Well, you double it. Multiply it by 2. And if I do it by that side, do it by that side. So you could be thinking, 5 times the height is 30. Okay. And again, if this is an algebra problem, 5h equals 30. I'm going to rewrite this as h times 5 and give myself some space equals 30. Right? How do I get rid of a times 5? I do the opposite. Divide it by 5. But if I do it to this side, what do you got to do? What do you got to do? Do the same thing to the other side. I got to divide this side by 5. So h, these cancel out. All that's left on this left side is h, which was what I wanted. And what's 30 divided by 5? 6. Okay, so 6 is the correct answer for the height here. Kind of a tricky question. Now, remember, for a trapezoid, I have to get the average of the top and the bottom times the height. And to get the average, all you do is you do top plus the bottom divided by 2. The average of 2 numbers is easy. It's just the middle between them. The median and the mean are the same for 2 numbers. And to get that, you just add them up and divide by 2. Why 2? Because that's how many you have. All right. If you want to get the average of 10 numbers, you add them all up and divide by 10. So 10 plus 20, I already know what the average of 10 and 20 is. It's right in the middle, right? 15. 10 plus 20 divided by 2 is 30 divided by 2, which is 15. And I go to multiply 15 times the height. 15 times 10, you can do in your head. 150 square meters. We'll say A equals, and put a box around my answer, and I'll circle all the work in the problem. Okay, good to do. All right, area of a triangle, again, is 1/2 the base times the height. Here the base is 9, the height is 4. I can do 1/2 of 9 times 4. Half of 9 gives me a fraction, 4.5 or 4.5, right? I can do half of 4 instead. That's easy, 2. 2 times 9, 18. So it's going to be square feet. Now, some people multiply it all out and do 4 times 9, get 36, and then take half of that by dividing by 2. You get 18, right? 2 goes into 3 1 time. 1 times 2. What do I do after I subtract? Bring down the next number. How many times does 2 go into 16? 8 times. Okay. I think it's easier if you have an even number, either the height or the base, cut that in half and multiply it by the other. It's a little shortcut. All right, last question is a science question. When is the official vernal equinox? Remember the vernal equinox? Equal means equal, and nox means night. That's when we have equal night. What does that mean? That means if we didn't have an atmosphere, we'd have exactly 12 hours of light, 12 hours of darkness, right? But because we have that atmosphere and it bends the light a little bit, we get a little extra light, which is kind of cool. I like that atmosphere for that reason, but more importantly, I like the atmosphere because it allows us to breathe. You want to be able to breathe, right? Anyway, the vernal equinox is also known as the first day of spring. First day of spring this year is March 20th. Why does it change? Because it takes a little bit longer than 365 days for the Earth to get around the sun. So every 4 years we have a leap year. So, some years the first day of spring will be March 21st, right? Someday it changes a little bit based on that. Okay. Have a great day, everybody. Good luck on your test. Hint, hint, hint. Aloha.